Hi, my name is Miriam Burnaby, and I'm a volunteer here at Greenburgh Town Hall. And if you're watching, you probably already know by now that the fabulous Sarah Bracey-White, who is the Executive Director of Arts and Culture here at Greenburgh, has for many years been providing opportunities for local artists to exhibit their work here at Town Hall. And this month's featured artist is my guest, Miss Kimberly Crichlow. And I'm delighted to welcome her. Welcome, Kim.
Thank you, Miriam.
So how did you first get interested in photography?
I mean, it kind of sounds like the same story that you hear from a lot of other photographers, but I think I was 13. My dad always had a camera, so I kind of followed his lead and picked up the camera and just started taking pictures. And that's basically how I started, yes.
Huh. And so what brings you to here? I mean, did you take classes or you just kept on doing it yourself? Or?
So for a very long time, I was just doing it by myself. The biggest thing I remember, I would go to my best friend's, she would DJ. I would go take the camera, take pictures. I was in the military.
Oh,
I
wow.
made sure I had my camera there as well. So I took some pictures there.
Huh.
And then when I came out of the military and did the corporate world, I kind of said, what makes me happy? And that was what it was. I said, taking pictures and capturing people's moments makes me happy. So as a photographer, that's what I was capturing. And then I also enjoy taking pictures of landscapes, flowers, and people. So that kind of led into that direction of saying I would like to do some fine art.
And do you, have you had other exhibits in photography or?
This is my first solo exhibit.
First solo exhibit.
Yes, I've had
Beautiful.
pieces selected that I've entered into competitions, but this is my first solo, yes, so big deal for me.
Excellent, that's beautiful. The work is beautiful, by the way.
Thank you, Mary.
I
Thank you.
love it. So how would you describe your process? I mean, can you walk us through from, finding your subject and manipulating it and,
I can, yes. So if you saw, some of my primary ones is floral. I use macro photography, and I try to get in close and see a different perspective of what other people might see. At the same time, it's almost, when you come kind of close, it also turns into abstract. So I try to kind of find that different perspective, make it abstract and contemporary at the same time. So that's with the floral. Some of the ones you've seen, which is black and white, and on my limited edition side is, I kind of said, how would it look to capture fire, but in a different way than people see it? So that's where you'll see some of the black and white ones that you said that you had liked. That kind of is a different way of looking at fire. You don't see the orange, you just see, my goal with that is to try to not make it seem like it's fire.
Yeah,
it's more of like an abstract shape, so.
It was actually fire that...
Yes. The
Really?
ones, the ones I saw you looking at when we came in, yes.
Yeah.
That is actually fire.
And I saw on the label it said some were on metal and some were on acrylic, or what?
Yeah, so the limited edition are on the medium of acrylic, printed on acrylic.
Okay.
And then some of them you'll see are in metal. Like
Wow.
printed onto the metal, right?
That's so interesting. So do you use digital photography or
Yes, it's digital
darkroom?
photography, and then I have post-production is with Lightroom and Photoshop.
So you work on a computer,
I
basically.
do, yes.
And the actual camera, is it a phone or is it a?
Oh, no, it's a DSLR.
Oh,
Yes, a
interesting.
camera, yes. But it makes sense because there are times where I don't have my camera and I actually use I made sure I had the most updated cell phone so that if I do capture a photo, one of my photos down there is captured with my cell phone.
Yeah.
But yes, predominantly I'm DSLR.
It's great. Well, both of those mediums, whether it's the phone or the
Right.
computer, are like, I'm showing my age because it's like, whoa, that's amazing. In terms of like some of the art that's in the exhibit here, can you tell me what's a couple of your favorites and what was the inspiration for those?
Okay. One of the favorites is, since we talked about the limited edition and the fire, is one that I have called Lovers. I kind of try to not dictate what I see when I label my pieces, but that one is what somebody else had said something and I said, you know what, that makes sense, let's call it that. And it's hard to explain because it's abstract, but it's it's sexy, but it's two flames that are coming in close together. But on any of my pieces, I try not to dictate or tell people what it is because people see things differently, and that's kind of the thing I've seen when you do some artwork or photography, right? Everybody has their own perspective of what they see.
Sure. Yeah.
So that's one of my favorites.
You have another favorite from?
Yes. And you'll see I have a lot more abstract, but there's one photo that I took of my best friend, and she was getting a haircut. And basically it's called transformation, and I just captured a few pictures of her just going through her transformation, and I caught her looking, so posed, and just kind of like how you feel when you're getting, oh, my hair looks shaggy and crazy, and then you're getting all neat and cleaned up. It just resonates with me. So that's one of my other ones that I like, where I've taken a picture of a person. And then floral flowers, there's a lot of those.
Yeah.
There's one that I have, it's called cone flower. Since orange is my favorite color, it was predominantly orange, and I just kind of came in real close to it, and then you have nothing else, you don't see anything else in the background, probably like a contrast of blue and green.
Yeah.
And then you see the details, so that's why that one's my favorite.
Yeah, they're really lovely. So let's talk about the business of art. I mean,
Okay.
I know, have you sold any?
I have.
Yeah.
Yes.
Do you want to sell more? Is that
Definitely would like to
Yes?
sell more. Definitely would like to sell more. You always have that feeling of accomplishment when because you like your artwork, and then you have to be very critical of which ones. You can't put them all out there.
Yeah.
But yes, so having that first sale was a very big accomplishment for me. And yes, I would like to sell more. I'd like to see some more of my artwork on people's walls.
Sure.
So.
And how do you promote yourself? How does that, have you gotten tips over the years about how to do that?
Tips. Maybe I'm not speaking to the right people, because I'm just kind of like in my own world. That's why this year was more about pushing myself out, getting myself out there, because who's going to see my artwork, right, if I don't even put it out there? And that's one tip that people have said is, like, if you don't push yourself and put it out in the world,
Right.
then you're just doing it for yourself, right? So I have to push myself out of my comfort zone and do that. What other tips? So Steve Harvey said one thing, and it's, as you're self-employed, you're an artist, is always saying motivated and staying disciplined. Yeah. So when he said that, I was like, that is very true, right? Because if you got to stay motivated. We all have our ups and downs during pushing yourself, because you have doubts, but that kind of resonates with me as well.
Sure. Do you use any social media or anything like that?
Yes. So I made a big investment, because there's a company, a platform called Art Storefront. So I've actually made an investment with them. So they actually kind of handle a lot with the social media, and they have actually give us a lot of coaching. They have meetings like every day, so you have questions, you can talk to them, and they tell us different things to do, like, hey, make yourself present on social media, not just about pushing your artwork, but also who you are.
Right.
Because people know who you are, they resonate more with you versus, oh, here's a piece of art, here's this, buy.
Right.
So they give a lot of feedback. I have to say that that's helped. And yes, so I'm on Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook.
Yeah. Wow. So that you have a page dedicated to this, in other words, in those places.
Yes.
Yeah. I think that's probably.
And LinkedIn.
Yeah.
I don't do that as much, but that one I have, yes.
That's great. All right, let's get philosophical. What do you think is the role of photography in society?
I mean, simple is to capture the milestone, the important moments, but also, kind of like freeze time so people can see things that they don't take the time to see, right? So that's why I say I try to capture things in a different perspective, because that's how I feel, that there's things that we walk by every day and we don't realize the beauty of it. So that's kind of like, for me, that's what I try to do. I try to capture those moments as well.
That's actually a beautiful thing, we got to save those moments.
We got to slow down sometimes.
Slow down and save the moments. All right, well, finally, my signature question here is, how do you, Kim, measure your own success in terms of your artwork?
One is basically when somebody else sees the beauty in something that I've taken, captured, because like I said, you capture something for yourself, you're like, yeah, that's the best thing since sliced bread, right? And it may not be to somebody else, but that's basically one of them, is just seeing that somebody else actually appreciates what I've captured. And like, again, overall, if they're appreciating it, that means it's resonated with them in a certain way, that it pushes them to want it and say, hey, I want to see this every day, or have it on my wall, or somewhere in my home that makes me feel calm, or it brightens their day, or something like that. So that's that's one way. But then also, of course, if it sells and I can become well known, that's way back in the back of my head, right? But yeah, I would like to be known for what I capture.
Sure. Well, it's been lovely talking with you.
Same here, Miriam.
And I hope everybody will go to the town hall gallery. It's not really a gallery, it's actually in the halls. You can do other stuff here and visit this beautiful artwork. And it is up until August 19th. And do yourself a favor and come see it.
Please do.